All right, so today, very important day, milestone.
Number 100.
Number 100, yeah. Cave dive number 100. I'm here
Yeah.
with Benjamin at Peacock Springs. You know him from the Abaco series.
Yeah.
So it's important. The
Yeah.
100 cave dive is seen as like the first milestone. There's some caves that they recommend you to have that 100, right?
Yeah.
Safe cave dives.
Yeah, the NSS CDS has a 100 Safe Cave Dive Award called the Abe Davis. So it's a nice first milestone.
And on top of the award, because Woody already has it, and I felt like I need to one-up him. It's a constant competition. I actually commissioned this custom jewelry piece. Check that out.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's the Grim Reaper from the cave diving sign. So it's a chain. I feel like if I do 100 safe dives, I earn the right to wear this thing. It's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Check that out.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, and he has my cave diving date at the bottom.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Awesome.
It says when I was certified, October 19th, 2020. So let's get after it.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so we're gonna go in at P1, and we're gonna go this way, and then there's a tunnel that's not on the map, so we're gonna use that. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff not on the map.
Oh.
So we're gonna use that tunnel to cut back over to main line, and we'll take this past the bones here. So there's a nice ledge in there with lots of bones.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll go past that, and then we'll come up and we'll take this jump.
Ooh.
And we're gonna go all around this way, take a look at Sistine. We're not gonna surface.
You know, I've never been like on the right side of this map.
Yeah.
I've always been like on the left, like this side right here. So now we're going on this side. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of times over in this area, there's, if you look in the ceiling, there's pockets of tannic water.
Oh.
Because there's not as much circulation and water flow over there. So a lot of times there'll be pockets, especially since the system's just clearing up after all the rain that's come down.
That's right.
So there'll be some cool stuff to see. And then we'll just go by Sistine. We won't surface. We'll just kind of look, because it's not a place you really want to come out at.
It's tonic water, right?
Well, it's just messy. The bottom's all silty.
Okay.
So,
all right.
and you have to kind of maneuver in there. But so we're gonna go over here, and we'll either take this jump or this jump, depending on how things are going. This one's a little smaller and nastier.
So we'll probably do that one then.
Yeah. So we'll take one of these jumps and go do the crypt. Hopefully get some footage of the crypt. And so we'll pop down there. And I'll show you the connection. There's a connection about in here that connects to Lower Orange Grove. It gets deep and low and nasty, and
Nice.
we're not doing that today. You need bottles on each side, and yeah, it's pretty advanced.
Another day.
But I'll show you that tunnel. You can kind of poke your head down and see, yeah, that's not for me today. Then we'll come back out, and we're gonna get back on the main line here and come back up to Olson, and that will be dive number 1. We'll do a nice debrief, go over any issues, and then after that we're gonna pop back down, and we're gonna go this way, connect to the crossover.
Yep.
And then from the crossover, we're going to take this Olson bypass tunnel. It's nice and pretty. There's clay banks in there. It's a lot less traveled, so
Nice.
you get a better sense of kind of how the cave used to be before it got as much traffic. So we're going to go over here, and then we're going to come out this way, and then we're going to get to the T right here. So we're going to make a jump back to mainline, get to a T, and then we're going to come over to Challenge. So that will be dive number 2. We'll surface there, and discuss
Debrief
anything we need to discuss, debrief,
Check our gases, all that good stuff.
and then the main dive of the day is next.
Yeah.
So we're going to go back down, and we'll follow main line down and do the first jump to the left. Jumps up on the ceiling to the right of the tunnel, so you'll have to run your jump line down along the floor. There's some rocks to do a placement, and then there's a nice rock right below the line to put it around, do a placement so that you can come right up at 90 degrees into the jump line. And we're going all the way down here, and then there's usually some intrusion. So like I said, you can look up into the ceiling and you'll see the light. Maybe we'll pop up and you can see how you just disappear into nothingness.
Nice.
Then we're going to continue along. There's I believe there's still a tee there, so we're going to mark all of our tees.
Yeah.
And we do that because as we get closer to Woody's room, it gets small and silty and nasty. So we definitely need to make sure we're marking everything so that if
Understatement, you're saying?
if we get separated, yeah, yeah, it's small and nasty. So we're gonna have our cookies and everything on any navigational decision.
Nice.
100%.
So
That way, if for some reason it gets silted out and we have issues, we get back to that navigational decision and, oh, Gus's cookie's still here. Oh, I gotta find them.
Yeah.
You know, because if you can't see, you know, you gotta have something to know.
So
I gotta go look for you.
in short, we're gonna go in here.
Yep.
And we're gonna end up
All the way
all the way up here.
Yep. And since we came out, then we've got more dives to get back to where we came out.
Exactly.
So.
Awesome. Welcome everyone to this video. This is actually a combined video from all the dives we did this day. Oh, little bug. I actually decided to save the battery for our push to Woody's room. It was my 100th cave dive, and typically there's like a little tradition in cave diving, which is when you're doing your 100th dive, you get to pick where to do it. And because I had already in the past tried to get to Woody's room and failed, I told Benjamin I wanted to do it for my 100th. Now I have a lot more experience. I have a sidewinder instead of a spirit, so I wanted to do that. The crypt is kind of cool. I don't know if you saw that Grim Reaper sitting on a throne there. The creepiest part was this guy right here hanging. It's kind of weird, just hanging from there. And he has a weird expression and contorted. Ugh. Alright, I don't know why. Benjamin is freaked out. Alright, not really. He doesn't freak out about anything. But anyway, here we are making the push for Woody's room. And the reason why I picked Woody's room again for my 100th dive, cave dive, is because I failed in the past. I tried once. I had a Kiss Spirit on, and it's a back-mounted rebreather, and I just couldn't make it. It was like we were silting the whole tunnel. As you are about to see, the tunnel to get there is pretty tight. And you saw it during the briefing. The lines on the rest of the map, if you want, you can rewind and go back and watch the briefing. But you will see the lines in the whole map are kind of like thick and, you know, wide. That illustrates the size of the passage. And then when it gets to Woody's room, it's like barely there's two lines. It's like super tiny. And that's because the tunnel to get there is pretty tiny. And I left the entire swim of the tunnel unedited in the video, so I'm bringing you with me to Woody's room. Now, again, I selected this because I have more experience now. I'm using a sidewinder, which is side-mounted. It's a side-mounted rebreather, and that makes my profile a lot smaller. So that means I'm not going to be silting the whole place out, and I can swim all the way there. At least that was the mission. That's what I thought, because, again, the first time we tried it, we didn't go all the way there. When the tunnel got too small, we kind of turned around. Now knowing where we turn around, I would say it was about halfway there. I thought I was much further. But after this weekend, I realized that we only made it about halfway before we turned the dive. So this was my second try going to Woody's room. This is actually Benjamin's third try. So he had tried twice before, unsuccessfully, for a variety of reasons. I think he tried with people that were chest-mounted, on a chest-mounted rebreather. Somebody was on a back-mounted. They all got stuck and they couldn't make it. It just gets too small. So you have to be side-mounted in order to make it there. Not a lot of people go to Woody's room. And the people that have been there are kind of like instructors, etc. And actually, you know, every person that we told we were going to Woody's room, they're like, you know, that's an advanced, like very advanced cave dive, right? And we're like, yeah, we know. We've tried it and failed. but we're gonna be successful this time. We're gonna do it. So here we are. This is what the tunnel looks like. It looks much bigger. It looks much bigger than what it is in person. Like right here, I'm trying my best not to hit the ceiling and hit the bottom, because the bottom is pure silt. Like, it will be immediately zero viz as soon as I touch that thing. So I'm trying my best to stay off the bottom, and you will notice that as the tunnel gets tighter and tighter, that's not always an option. And before you ask, by the way, in the comments below, Woody's room is not named after Dive Talk Woody. Is named after Woody Jasper, who we've covered before. We've he did a rescue and recovery in one of our previous videos, reactions that we did. It was our first 911 video, by the way, we reacted to. Fun fact. And Woody Jasper was the guy who went in to get those guys out. And I was very, very fortunate to meet Woody Jasper, that is, last year during the cave diving conference in Florida. So he was there. I met him. He knew my name. I freaked out. Total legend, and that's who this room is named after. So you can see there's like a mount here, and you will hear our voices along the way. That's the beauty about rebreathers. You can actually talk, and you can hear, what the people are talking about. You can kind of understand. You don't understand 100% of it, but you can kind of understand. You can see the tunnel keeps going. You will get a better idea on the way out, because I'm actually filming Benjamin swim through it, so you will see how much space there is, really, for a human to go through and not bump into stuff. So I keep making the push. I don't know exactly where we turned. The first time we did it, I did the first attempt at Woody's room was with Woody from Dive Talk and Brian, who's a friend of ours. He's been on Dive Talk as well, but excellent diver. And we tried, and I was third in the team. So Brian went in first, Woody was second, and I couldn't see anything. I was just following like the line basically, and at some point I bump into Woody, and he was like, "Turn around," and I'm like, "Okay." It was like, on my first 10 cave dives, probably. It was very early in my cave diving career, so I was happy to get out of there. It was full silt out. Like you train for that, obviously, when you become a cave diver. Typically, they just put a mask, like to block out your mask, or you close your eyes or whatever. The idea is you can't see anything and you have to perform. But I had never done it for real full silt out. Like, I've been in poor visibility, of course, in caves, but never 100%. And this was my first time being at 100%. You can see the line. There's line throughout this whole tunnel, but there's still ways to get stuck and lost, even though it doesn't seem like it because you're following a tunnel. But there were some offshoots of the tunnel where I was like, man, if somebody goes that way, they'll be stuck. I don't think they would get lost necessarily completely and drown, but they could get stuck to a point where it would be hard to get out of there. So you see the tunnel keeps getting smaller and smaller. And this is a long dive. Again, I wanted to put the unedited version for those of you who like that stuff. Tiny. That's right. It's very, very small. Keeps getting smaller. If you don't like this part, you can fast forward, a few minutes, because there's still a lot more swimming to do in this tunnel.
I think we did it.
I think we did it.
This is it.
This is it.
Oh? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, not yet.
Oh, okay.
No. It's not that easy.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
Okay.
but that means that I never made it to this place. So I'm already in new territory.
Oh.
The first time I tried, we
Yeah.
turned before I saw a bigger opening like this. In this place, you can actually turn. It's tight from floor to ceiling, but it's wide enough that you could turn and get out of there. In some other parts in this tunnel, it's not as easy to turn. Oh man, keeps going. Okay. Here we go, following the line. Try my best to keep the camera steady, but obviously I'm operating a rebreather, so I need to hit buttons here and there and do stuff, and that's why sometimes the camera is a little shaky. This is what... Do you see, like, those offshoots? Those holes? Somebody got lost and went in there, they would be pretty stuck. Okay, we're following the line on the right. You can see the line.
No. Oh. Yeah. Oh.
Oh, man. Keeps going. I thought I have found it a few seconds ago, and now... just keeps going. So I'm just frustrated, of course. I wanted to get to Woody's room. But what makes Woody's room a challenge is not just the buoyancy control and trim that you have to, you know, really nail to be able to navigate this tunnel without making a complete mess like the way we did it the first time. But the fact that it's hard to get there. It's very, very hard. In my opinion. Like, I know people watch this channel. There are expert cave divers and explorers, and they probably have been to Woody's room before, and they're like, it's not hard. I do that in my sleep. Okay, great. You're way better than me. But in my opinion, I thought it was hard.
Okay.
Okay, goes this way. The tunnel just keeps going and going and going. And you can't swim fast, because if you kick hard, visibility is gone. So I'm following the line. This also kind of gives you an idea of how I dive. Right? I'm looking ahead, looking for where to go, where's the biggest opening for me, and then once in a while, I turn and look at the line. I'm not looking at the line always, because then I'm looking at the line. There it is, the line, and just keep going. I'm not always looking at the line. I'm not a line diver, right? So the idea is you have to look for the best path, and you can't do that if I'm staring at the line the whole time. This is all mud or clay at the bottom, by the way. You know, you look at it wrong and it goes off.
Wow.
Okay.
So small.
So small. It's stupid small.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna pause right here for a second. So we get to, and I sigh because I remember this. I mean, I did this 2 days ago, so I remember it vividly. You know, you get to this point where there's kind of two openings. So there's a rock in the middle. You see it right here. I'm pointing it out with the pointer. There's an opening right here, but that opening has a rock behind it. You can't see it yet, but there's like a rock behind it, which is hanging from the ceiling, like this one. So I'm like, I can go this way, or I can try to go this way, which doesn't have a rock behind it, but the hole is way smaller, right? Either way, these two holes are the smallest restriction or holes that I've seen at Peacock until now. Like, even in this tunnel, like nothing compared to how small that is. So before I decide to go either left or right, I decide to take a look. But what becomes evident is that in order for us to make it to Woody's room, we're going to have to pass this restriction. And the line comes from the right, and somehow I think it goes under the wall, and then it passes right between the holes. So I'm going to have to like push the line down. We don't push it up because you don't want to tangle something behind your back that you can unentangle yourself. So you push it down, and if it gets caught up in something in your chest, that's a lot easier to release. So I would have to push the line down and then push through it, either through this hole or that hole. I don't know yet. So I'm about to take a look and let Benjamin know what I'm about to do. So you see the line is going through the middle there. Middle of the hole. I'm like, okay, there's a left opening, there's a right opening. The left looks smaller. Man, that's small. But obviously there's line through it, so somebody made it through. And then there's a big one there, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. This is very, very tight. I don't know where to go. You can hear me thinking out loud. And the vis starts to get bad because I'm basically at the bottom at this point. So I try to go up high to see where to go. You see? Okay, let me pause right there. This is the rock that I'm talking about, right? This thing right here protruding. So if I push this line down and I try to go through, my hunch is that between the bottom and the rock, I'm going to get wedged, right? So because the line is going that way to my left, I'm like, okay, if I go this way, then will I have enough room in here between this rock and this rock, like here in this arch, Well, I have enough room there that I can turn and head this way, right? Because I want to go that way. I want to follow the line. The other thing that I want you to see is that the line looks very, very old. If I had to guess, and I might be wrong, so point it out in the comments if you actually know, about this line. I think this is the original line. Whoever lay line to Woody's room lay this line, and it has never been replaced or anything like that. So this thing could be here for 40 years. Like, I don't know how long this line has been here. But the other thing that I was concerned about is that line could break because the line is made of nylon. It's, it should support like 1,000 pounds, like 500 kilos or whatever. But it's 40 years old. It's been underwater. You have to be hesitant with that. So, okay. So I'm like, okay. So I push the line down. Damn, but maybe the left hole. I mean, look at all those overhangs. Like, see how small that is? If you're a cave diver, you know that is tiny back there. You're like, I don't know where to go. I don't know. And then I realized I'm stuck. So I'm like, beep, beep, like a truck. That is our signal to I'm backing out or help me back out, either one. So I was backing out on this one. And visibility starts going to hell in a handbasket. Can't see anything. I'm like, okay, well, now I can't see either hole. So this is not good. Hold on.
It's too small.
It's too small. Too small.
Too small, eh?
So basically, to just, spoiler alert, I thought the hole was too small first to go through. I'm like, there's no way I can make it through this hole. I mean, with my size, there's just no way. And on top of that, you can see the visibility is deteriorating. So I make the terrible call, painful call to end the dive.
I can see.
It's like I can't even see the hole.
Here. I think I should turn around.
We need to turn around.
You sure? Turn around.
Turn around.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh. I can climb in and go to a larger area. Just go.
He tries to tell me something, and I'm like, dude, just go. Just go. I wasn't going to go through that hole. I don't know what's on the other side. I don't know what situation I'm going to end up. And I would have been completely blind. And I was the first one. The first person, in line would have the best visibility. So Benjamin was going to have completely zero visibility. And I was concerned about that too. Benjamin is a member of KUR. Like, he's an amazing diver. But neither one of us had been beyond that point. In Benjamin's previous 2 attempts, he made it to that point. But the guy who was in front of him got stuck. And I don't know if he panicked or not, but he got stuck bad. I mean, Benjamin had to, like, wedge himself between the ceiling and the bottom to pull the guy and, like, rip him out of the restrictions. So it was super, super tight. I didn't know that, by the way, until afterwards. When we talked, we surfaced and we talked about this. He was like, yeah, that was the same place that other guy got stuck. And I had to pull him out, or else he would have died, basically. He couldn't unstick himself. So you can see visibility starting to improve because we're swimming out. And this is where your buoyancy and trim really matter, right? We really, really pay attention on the way in so we didn't destroy. But you can see there's no room. Like, Benjamin is swimming. He is like an inch, like 2 centimeters from the mud below and almost in the ceiling, right? So even if you keep amazing control, you're still going to, silt out the place a little bit, but not completely. So that's what we're doing. So here we come out to a point where there's more clarity. It's a little bit bigger, and Benjamin wants to tell me to try again. He's like, how's the hole? Do you want to try again? Like, what if we... It's like, it's too small. Okay. Okay, so what Benjamin is doing here is, because he had tried twice and failed, he really, really wanted to go to Woody's room. I really, really wanted to go to Woody's room too. It's my 100th dive that we're doing, so I wanted to succeed. but I had to make the call to turn around. And he's trying to reason with me. He's like, but what if we go a little bit open to the left and try to go in on the left? Maybe the right one is too small, but what about the left one? Like, he's trying to reason with me, but I already make the call. Once I make the call that we're done, we're done. We're not going to try again. He's like, let's go to the left and then go through. I'm like, nope, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Out. You see, I gave him the thumb up, and he immediately was like, okay, that's it. It's over. No more talking. We're out of here. So now with a person in front of me, you get to see the size of this tunnel. It's not the biggest, of course. And look, he's not touching the bottom here. He's just swimming through, and still the silt out is happening. But I can still see. I see his tank there. I see his fins. He's doing an excellent job as usual, keeping up. I turn around just to show you what it looks like behind me, and I'm not touching the bottom either. And it doesn't matter. If you just swim by it, it will come up. You see I'm holding the line. Even though there's good visibility, I don't necessarily need to hold the line in here because I can see where I'm going. As long as I can see the line, I don't have to touch it, but since I'm swimming over it, I put my hand on it so it doesn't get tangled on anything. I felt really good when Benjamin told me that, you know, on the way in, because of the attention to detail and making sure we're not hitting anything unnecessarily, he said it was the best visibility he's had going in from his 3 attempts. So we're both really, really paying attention to avoid silting the place out. So this is what the exit looks like after a terrible disappointment. We did not make it to Woody's room. It remains an enigma. It remains a giant goal for us, and is, you know, again, a very, very advanced dive. I don't recommend it to anyone who's just starting as a cave diver, and definitely if you're in back mount, open circuit, or rebreather, do not go there. You would be wedged. There's just no way to make it there. Although we've heard stories of people, it's like, oh yeah, I went there and back mount doubles. Like, really? How? Like, there's just no way in back mount you can make it there. I mean, yeah, I can't even imagine how hard it would be. You would have to take them off and push them in front of you. So I guess you could make it if you're not wearing them. If you push it in front of you and then, you know, your body doesn't have anything on it, you're not wearing anything, then I can see how. And, you know, Woody Jasper was famous actually for doing stuff like that. I think he was one of the first ones to make side mount popular. But even when it was back mount, you know, I've seen videos of his dives where he takes it off and pushes it in front. So I get that if you do that, then you'll get through in here. And to be fair, the original explorers, which probably includes Woody Jasper, they were not diving rebreathers. They were in open circuit, but they were probably pushing it in front of them. They weren't wearing it. Okay, so we're making it almost all the way out. You get to see a total clinic here from Benjamin, fixing the line for the future. You know, giving the diver more space. The line was kind of like on the way, so he fixed it a little bit with the rock. And we're getting out. By the way, plenty of air we had. You see Benjamin is wearing his steel 85, so 85 cubic feet cave-filled tanks. And the depth is about 20 meters or 60 feet, 65 feet tops. So 285 tanks at that depth, I mean, it will last them hours. So if his rebreather were to fail, we have to exit this tunnel open circuit, he would have so much air. And he actually told me, he's like, look, if both of our rebreathers fail, I would just take the left tank, you take the right tank. And by the way, of course, I had 2 tanks too, but if he's like, our rebreathers fail, you run out of air, your tanks fail for some reason, we can still get out with my 2 tanks. And we could have gotten out with my 2 tanks too. That's one of the advantages of diving at Peacock Springs, is that unless you go to Lower Orange, which is deep, if you stay within the main cave system, you know, you can be there on a rebreather for like unlimited amount of time. And not getting to any deco or anything. You can go straight to the surface if you run into issues. We still prepare for it, right? We have plenty of gas. We stage a O2 bottle at 20 feet on top of that. So, you know, we're good to go. Great job here from Benjamin. I think I try to get like a side shot of him as well. You can see from the side what it looks like. But you see no full front kicks, just kind of like halfway front kicks. We're not moving fast. I'm doing the same exact kicks he's doing. I'm kind of mirroring him. And I did him on the way in as well. So staying off the bottom. The tunnel starts opening up as you're exiting it. So as you enter it, it looks big, and then it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, ending on those 2 restrictions that I showed you a couple minutes ago. It's a tough decision, you know, to turn a dive. You don't want to disappoint your buddy. You don't want to disappoint your partners and the people that woke up early that morning to go meet with you and dive. They obviously want to reach an objective. You want to get somewhere, and you don't want to be the one calling out the dive. But it was just my opinion that it would be too dangerous to continue pushing through. And, you know, Benjamin was fine. We, you know, after the dive, we still, you know, it's still dive number 100. This was still a cave dive. Even though I didn't make it to Woody's room, all the way to Woody's room, it was still my 100th cave dive. So we still, you know, grabbed some dinner and celebrated the 100 dives. And it was actually 101 because when you surface from going to Woody's room, you surface a challenge sink, which is basically a hole in the middle of the woods in Florida. And although technically I guess you could get out of there, I mean, you would need like rope and ascenders. Like, it's just hard. It's a hole in the ground. There's no infrastructure like stairs or anything like that. So you don't get out of there. So what you do then is you swim to an actual exit, which a Peacock, there's a couple. In this particular day, we took the Peanut Tunnel. If you look at the map, you can follow it. The Peanut Tunnel all the way to Peacock 1. So it was a long, long swim out. It took us, I don't remember, probably about an hour to make it out of there. So imagine that you're disappointed because you didn't make it. You're disappointed because the objective wasn't met. And then you still have to swim for an hour to be able to actually get out of there. It's tough. And the whole time you're just thinking about, like, man, I cannot believe we had to turn around again. But, you know, Woody's room is not going anywhere. It's going to be there tomorrow and next week and the month after that. So we can always try again. It's not a big deal. By the way, all over the place in this cave, and this is true with caves in Florida, there's these little critters that you find in Florida. They're translucent critters. And I actually zoom in one of them. You can see, like, he's far from the bottom and still silt is coming out just by him swimming through it. And he's paying attention. He's being careful. And still, just our bodies going through there create so much disturbance that the silt will come up. So anyway, what I was saying is these little critters are translucent. You see, I zoom into one, and you can see like what they ate that day. Like that guy ate something red, whatever that was. But you can see their internal organs and stuff. It's kind of weird. And I think they're blind as well. So they live inside this cave in total darkness from birth till death. And yeah, you get to see them all over the place. Sometimes they're big ones. You see them and it's like, whoa, that thing looks like a squirrel. All right, maybe not as big as a squirrel, but all right, picking up cookies. We're out. This is what I mean. Challenge sink. Sees a hole in the ground. And we're doing a 3-minute safety stop, even though we don't really have to, but, you know, we do a safety stop anyway. And, you know, we surface here and talk about what just happened, do a little debrief. What did I see? I describe it to him, why I decided to turn the dive. And again, he's not questioning me. He trusts my judgment, of course. But I still explain to him, you know, this is why I decided to turn around. There's always a next time. Well, we couldn't make it to Wooder's room. We try. I'm 0 for 2 now. I've tried twice. I fell twice.
Well, it's my 3rd time trying.
Failed.
Yeah.
Or 3
times.
What is going on with Wooder's room?
It's a curse.
It's cursed. But we still were able to make it. Dive number 100 and 101.
Yeah, 101.
So we're able to make it.
Congrats, Gus.
Thank you. Thank you. So I feel like finally I get to wear my little Grim Reaper over here.
Yeah, nice.
Pretty badass. Plus, as everybody knows, cave diving has a tradition, which is very much like Donald Cerrone's cave diving rule.
And in cave diving, it's kind of an unwritten fact that you only worry about you, I'm coming home.
Which means totally made up.
Yeah.
In which we eat cheese balls now.
Yeah. So
after every dive.
Yeah.
So
started in Abaco, now it's a thing.
Yeah, now it's a thing for sure. So grab some cheese balls, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yep. See you guys.
I'm coming home. Like this is what I come home every time. I'm coming home.